the Sit Down with Yolonda Jay. I'm so excited about today. One, it's the last week of the year, and I could not be more excited about 2026 than I am today. So, let's go. And then my guest is the beautiful Dr. LaToya K. Williams. I can't say her name without saying K. Williams. One of my good friends that have been around since I was 18 years old. And when I thought about her, I thought, dang, my network is dope because she is going to be a purpose and a presence in this guest today. So welcome to the Sit Down with Yolonda Jay. This is a space where leaders, visionaries, and change makers pause long enough to tell their truth about the journey behind the title. The show exists because growth is not just about what we build externally, but how we and who we are becoming internally. Tonight, we're closing the year with intention. I mean, it just worked out this way. I am honored to have joined with me. I mentioned Dr. LaToya K. Williams. She's a licensed therapist, an inspirational speaker, the host of the Becoming Well podcast. My friend, I love her so much, and you're gonna love her too. Dr. LaToya's work sits at the intersection of faith, emotional wellness, leadership, helping people navigate life's transitions with clarity and wholeness. I'm so excited. She says it best. She says, a journey is just our passage of navigating through possibilities until we arrive at absolutes. Tonight is not about rushing to the next thing. It's about choosing and closing out the year being well. Please welcome to the virtual couch. The virtual couch is so ghetto. The virtual sofa, Dr. LaToya K. Williams. Do I have an applause? I think I might even have an applause button there. I might have an applause button there. Let me do it. There we go. There's the applause. I'm so excited. I can't even say it and express it enough how excited I am to have you. It is just an amazing connection that I have I was like, my network is so dope. I was like, yes. My network is dope, baby, because, the one and only. How you doing, honey?
I am well. How are you?
Lord, I done told you, I done tried to incorporate that well all day long.
I know it's a part of me at this point, so it's like I can't even help it. So
talk about it. I mean, I'm going off of script, but talk about being well. What does that mean? Because I see you with t-shirts, and I went on your website, and it's all about be well.
Yeah. Well, let me. I'll start with talking about kind of how that originated for me, right? Mm-hmm. And so now we got to go back to about 2018. And in a lot of transitions kind of in my life, my son was kind of moving middle school, then heading to high school, so that's like a big thing. Work was, of course, becoming more, and let me say work meaning my life work, right? My entrepreneurship with therapy and merging therapy and the world of church and all that was becoming a more just prevalent part of my life. I had just come out of getting my doctorate. And in 2018, my mom was diagnosed with cancer, and it was a terminal cancer that, as the doctor put it, was the worst kind of cancer to have in the worst place ever.
Oh.
And at that point, with all of those things, and this is the quick version, guys, but all of those things happening.
Take your time, walk slow.
Walk slow. But when that happened, my world stopped. I think everything I knew about trying and being well, which I wasn't really using that term then, but kind of being in healthy space and moving forward and passion and purpose, it was like it all stopped because my mom was essentially dying. And I was like, wow. What? And my mom, who is the strongest woman that I know, right, says to me on the phone, she says, Toya, what are we going to do? And at that moment, you could have bought me for zero, not even a penny. Okay. You could have taken me for free at that moment. And I said to her, I was like, Mom, like, I don't know, but we're going to live, right? Because in that moment, someone so let me put a little backdrop, who's a fixer, who helps other people with their issues, their problems, their
Know it all
things,
too well.
all the things, right? Could not do anything at that moment for my mom or for me or my family, right? And so that was kind of the beginning of being well and becoming well, and what that meant to me, because I realized that, hey, we weren't well. Because in my mind, being well is we're not sick, nothing's wrong, right? Everything's good, right? There are all of these things that are going well in our lives. They're on track. But at that moment, nothing really was. And my question to God was like, what do we do with that? What do we do in spaces, with that? And at that moment, I realized that being well was less about being without sickness or being without challenge or being without problem. And it was more about making a decision every day, every moment of the day, to maximize what you have that brings you fulfillment. And that started the journey for being well for me. I started then trying to practice that with my mom. We visited more, we talked more, we had moments of silence more, we did the awkward things more, but it was really about, hey, what's fulfilling in this moment, and how do we maximize that? How do we not let that slip away from us, right? And so in a nutshell, that's really what being well is. It's me helping people take broken lives and unfulfilled promises and help them to kind of identify and recognize that, hey, I can still live a well life. I can really still be fulfilled. I just got to figure out through all of those possibilities when I make it to what is really absolute.
And I love how it crosses not just being well emotionally, mentally, but physically as well. Because
sure.
baby, we see a transformation if you don't know her. She was already fine, but then now. I told my mom, I was like, Mom, Dr. LaToya is going to be on. She's like, oh, she's so beautiful. I was like, she's been beautiful since the moment I met her. Inside and out, though. It's not just an outward thing. It's inside and out. And I like to tell this story because people just don't know. I've been knowing you since I was 18 years old. I'm going to tell you today that I'm 48. That's 30 years ago. 30. It seemed like yesterday, but it was 30 years ago.
Isn't that amazing? I was thinking about that when I was preparing to come on. I'm like, I have known her since she was a baby, right? Like
right out of high school.
Marriage, before kids, before all of those things.
But people don't know that. Not our mutual friends. Not a lot of people know that I followed you around at 18 years old. Because the people that was in my circle was my dad and my uncle. Like, I don't want to be around y'all.
Yes.
I don't want to be around y'all. And I went to that college and started following y'all around, and the rest is her story. I tell you that.
Absolutely.
So I am so excited to have watched you blossom from that college student to Dr. LaToya, okay, with your own brand and being well and such, okay? So I love that connection because we've been around for a little bit. It's been a while, huh? We're not new to this thing.
We're not new to this. We true to this, right?
Thank you for being here with me today. All right. Absolutely. So let me stay on task because what I mentioned to you is that you just have this really amazing intersection. My show is not faith-based, but I'm a faith believer, so it ends up intertwining. But you have this it's a very tough space as a leader in. Like, I'm exhausted right now, actually, as a leader. My pastor is probably going to see this. He's going to be like, huh? I'm exhausted right now in leadership in church, right? I've been doing that for all my adult life. I've been in administrative capacities in ministries that I belong to. And it is a very fine line in that intersection of serving others and being emotionally, mentally well. Why? I'm going to tell you why I'm exhausted right now. Because I haven't been in a sanctuary in like 12 weeks. I've been in church. but I haven't been to the sanctuary, like
Yeah.
sitting under my pastor, because we have been building the youth department
Yeah.
and we just opened a youth ministry. And
Hmm.
I had to tell my leaders, look, I joined this ministry to get fed. And we often don't get fed because we're serving. And
Yeah.
I love to serve. It's so great. I love the kids.
Sure.
I love what we're building, but I'm mentally exhausted. Why? Because I'm not eating
Yes.
spiritually
Yes.
in that space. And
Yeah.
so talk about the importance of that faith, emotional health balance that
Yeah.
is necessary for leaders in that space of ministry.
Yeah. Well, you're talking my language now, because this is very passionate for me. And you know this, but a part of my dissertation when I was working on my doctorate was about the self-care of pastors and their spouses specifically. But of course, that lended me to just ministry leaders and learning about that space. And essentially, in a nutshell, what we find, which is probably what you assume, what a lot of people assume, is there is an astronomical amount of burnout, right, in those
Yes,
spaces, because
it's real.
it is very real, and it's very heavy, leaning on the service side, right, the
Mhm,
response,
mhm.
what we call the responsibility side, and not as much weight is leaning on the relationship side, right? When it comes to us and God and what that entails, right? One of the wonderful things that I loved about going home, even like whether it was college, when I was in college, whether it was even after, I was grown and married and had a child, right? I would go home to my mom. And one of the things I loved about that was that I was able to go home and just be Toya, right, to the people that were around me. I was able to rest and recover and reset because none of those people really required a whole lot out of me, right? And what that said to me is that, there are spaces, and relationship and family can be defined in a lot of different ways for us, but there are those spaces where we have to find when we are in leadership, especially women and men, right? Don't get me wrong, but I'm a woman, so I know that part of it, right?
Say it again.
One of the things that we have to lean heavily on is, what does our eating, I'll use your term, or what I like to call, what is that recovery process look like for me? Yes, we should serve, right? Like that's a commandment, right? Like Jesus tells us, hey, like, serve others, feed the hungry, clothe the naked. Like, we want to take care of the widows and the children, and that expands in a lot of different ways, so we absolutely should do that. But that should not be our only focus when it comes to who we are, right?
That's big.
And I'll just use this analogy, and it's used in a lot of spaces, but it resonated with me one day when I was sitting on a plane and they were going through this, this spiel that I've heard 50 billion times because I've flown a lot. And the one thing they say is, if the cabin pressure changes, mask will come down. Put your mask on first, and then you can assist others. And I always remember that when I find myself assisting others and I have no mask on,
Mm.
right? And the one thing I say is, hey, yes, we should serve, but there should be some priority, just in terms of, hey, the one that is serving, right? Does he have their mask on? The leader, the woman who's in leadership, has she put her mask on first today, right?
Mhm,
Has she
mhm.
put it on this week? Has she put it on in preparation for a lot of the service and the work that she has to do? Because if not, guess what? She's going to lose some air and she's going to pass out, and she's not going to be well. She's not going to be well.
And listen, we can't, how do we say, serve from an empty cup or
Empty
give
cup.
from that empty
That's
cup. If
right.
we're empty,
Yep.
then how can we give back? And that's how I felt.
Yeah.
I feel
Yeah.
like that. Like, I love y'all, but after 12 weeks, I want to hear him live. You
For
understand what I'm saying?
sure.
So
For
uh,
sure.
we
Yeah.
have to have resources, and sometimes therapy,
Mm-hmm.
mental health day, that kind of thing has been a dirty word. And I've been in
Yeah.
church for a long time, for a
Oh,
long,
for
long,
sure.
long time. And that's been a dirty, dirty word to want to get help. I will say, when I was growing in my faith and uh, experience, so you are in church and nothing happens to you. You're just a kid, nothing really happens to you. But when that thing happens, right? when life happens and you grow up and real stuff start happening to you where you have
Yeah.
your own perspective, I remember people just telling me, go to the altar.
Mm-hmm.
Like, leave it to the altar. To this day, I'm gonna admit, I do not know how to leave it at the
Yeah.
altar. Like, yo, I got up and it still burns, it still stings. And I've cried, I've poured, I've snotted, I have yelled. You know my yell, honey, that yells for real. And I feel freer, but I
Yeah.
don't feel relieved. Can you talk a lot, like walk us a little bit and
Listen.
intersect that therapist with the
Mhm.
faith-based community? What do you
Yeah.
say to
Yeah.
those?
The scripture, and I know I didn't come on here to preach, but scripture tells us that,
Walk heavy, honey.
I would that you would be whole, made whole, right? Like, I would that you would prosper even as your soul prospers, right? And so there's a lot that we see, and that's not the only scripture, but there's a lot of where Jesus saying, hey, be made whole, right? And when we think of wholeness, what do we think of? Every part of us, body, soul, spirit. And in terms of that intersection, I'll say, between the spirituality, our relationship with God, how we receive from God, and our emotional or mental well-being, those cannot be addressed like separately, right? I cannot be
Mm,
on this amazing and fulfilling and purpose-filled spiritual journey and be emotionally unwell. That does not work. Which
wow.
I'm not going to get on any soapboxes on this show tonight, but which is why we do see a lot of burnout and sickness and mental unhealth, unwellness, right, in our leaders, even in church, right? Because as much as there's this spiritual drive, there's not this emotional, mental, and even physical drive to also be well. And I'll put
Mhm.
it this way: there's so much that God absolutely has for us in church and that he has for us to receive. But if I am not in a mental well space to believe what God's
Mm,
word says to me, more than likely I'm not going to grab hold to that word. I'm not going to be well. I'm not going to prosper because my worry, my lack of self-worth, my trauma, all of that stuff is in the way. It gets in between me grabbing hold to and becoming one with God's word. But the
mhm,
more self-aware I am, the more I realize that what my trauma has told me is not real and what God is telling me is real, the more I can say, and I'll give an actual example, the more I can say that, no, you are worthy to be loved, the more I really have a chance in being loved by God and knowing that my sins are forgiven and knowing that he's not holding anything against me and knowing that he's not punishing me and knowing that I don't have to walk around with guilt and shame. If I'm not working through that over here, then more than likely I'm not going to be as faithful, full of faith as I really can be in God. And so, to answer your question, there's a really big intersection there that, hey, this is not just about me going after God and going to the altar. Yes, that's a part of it, but it's also about me doing the work that says, you know what? I won't allow, these irrational core beliefs that I've been living with that tell me that I'm not worthy or I don't deserve love or I'm not good enough or I'm not capable enough as a woman and as a leader to do any of these things, that I got to work on those things that are lies so that I
mm.
can receive the truth, right? That will really make me free. Yeah.
Work on those things that are lies. Ha! Somebody drop that in the comments. I could put it on the screen. I have a question from
Yeah.
Akeisha. She said, Dr.
Okay.
LaToya, how can you be well when you feel like you're in a Job
Ooh,
season?
my God, today. So I'll go back to my kind of, I don't know if I want to say definition of wellness, but my kind of understanding is that wellness, when we think about wellness, it is not that we are without sickness or we are
Right.
without disease or without
Ooh.
problem or without challenge, right? And so when we think about wellness, it is that, hey, I have the ability. Now I need to assess what those abilities are. So to answer your question, when we are in a Job season and let me speak to you because you feel like that's where you are. When you're in that season, and you feel like you're losing things and things are being taken from you, and all of what maybe you've known or you've known about yourself is no longer where you are. I want to encourage you that, and here's some basic things. One, you're still living. Two, what that means is that there is still something, and I don't want to make this about, oh, purpose to help the world. No, there is something in you that is valuable and that your creator sees as valuable. You might not know what that is right now because you're being stripped of all of the things that you've known. But what my encouragement for you is one, to know you are valuable. Two, to know that, hey, there's something that is within me, within my hand, within myself, that I need to grab onto every day, every moment in the day, until I come out of this Job season. And I'll tell you what I mean by that. That when I work with children, especially children that were abused by parents or people that they live with, they weren't necessarily always removed from the home, right? We just didn't have a lot of space, all these things that were happening, right? And so my job was to help them. Well, I want to rescue everybody, right? I want to be like, let me get you out, right? So that we can get you well. Well, guess what? Wellness is not being without, being away from trouble, trials, any of those things. What I had to do is I had to teach them how to look within themselves for something that was powerful and that was valuable, that they could hold on to and would give them hope. Sometimes we don't have the rescue. We don't. And that's just the honest truth. We're not rescued out of the fiery furnace. We're not rescued out of the Job season. We're still sick. We still got a diagnosis. We still don't have enough money. We still don't have, our children are not where we want them to be. Like, we're still faced with these things. But even in the midst of that, there is something. And my I guess I want to compel you, where you are in this Job season, is to look for what is certain, right? Look for what is absolute. I know that there's a lot of things going on and happening, but there are some things that are absolute that oftentimes we're overlooking. And that could simply be, you know what? I have breath. I have breath today, and that's got to mean something. Or it could simply mean that I have a job that I got to go to. Or it could mean that I have this baby that God has still blessed me with, that I'm taking care of. Or it could mean I have my sanity. I have not lost my mind today. I thought I would have lost it, but I did not. I'm still in my right mind today. What does that mean, right? And grab hold to that more and more and more, right? That's what Job did. Job grabbed hold to the truth when everybody else was telling him. His friends were like, Job, you did something you did that caused this. His wife told him, curse God and die, right? All these other people were giving him these outs, these rescues. And what Job did was he bore down and he held on to what was constant. He was like, I know my God. I know I'm in this, but I know who my God is. Let me hold on to that. So find your absolute, right? Where you are. Yeah. And let me just add this. That is hard. That is easier said than done. That is not going to give you 100% relief, but what it will give you is a glimmer of hope, which will grow into a larger glimmer of hope, which will grow into a larger glimmer of hope, which will grow into a, God, I thank you. This is nobody but you that is keeping me in this. Yeah. Yeah.
One thing that you said was so powerful is that we maybe in a Job season and we want to get delivered, but you mentioned something like, we are not without sickness, even when like we keep moving, even when that's kind of what I got from that,
For
even
sure.
when we're, still being delivered, when we're
For
leaving
sure.
it on the altar, we may not be without the
Yeah.
sickness, but we can still be productive. We can still
That's
keep
right.
moving. And
Yeah.
I will say for myself, I can be in this is self-diagnosis, because I went, my major is psychology, so I can self-diagnose myself.
Right. Of course.
But I can be in working depression where I am just functioning too. So there's a difference between Makisha like really accepting the absolute and then and driving in that moment, or just kind of blindly. And I
Yes.
love the fact that we can find the glimmer of hope and
Mm-hmm.
move forward.
Mm-hmm.
even in that leadership space, not even in faith space, I tell my teams, like, let's celebrate the small wins. When we celebrate the small wins, it gives the team motivation to keep
For
going.
sure.
So I feel
Mm,
like that's the correlation between, like, corporate leadership and
yeah.
then what you're talking about is those
Mhm.
small wins you can take so far, because every time you hit a small milestone,
Yep.
you feel like keep going a little
Yeah.
bit further. So I love that. That was awesome. But you know that you may not be without sickness, but that does not mean that you're not well. Ooh,
Yeah.
I don't even know if
Mm.
that's what you said, but that sounds good. I might run on that
Absolutely.
myself.
Absolutely. And let me tell you real quick what helped me with that. And Makisha, maybe this can help you. Is I'll never forget during the pandemic, early on in the pandemic, and I was still working virtually, of course, and my office at home was in the front, and I had a window, and there was this tree outside. Um, at least I think I'm in my right mind. I had this tree outside, and there was this bird that would come. So I'm in my office working. We're in the throes of a pandemic. Like, don't even want to go out to get. I hadn't been out of the house, and I don't know how long at that point. And I would just look out there and see this tree, and this bird would come, and he would just be chirping, chirp, 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 chirp. And in that moment, I'm like, what are you chirping about right now? Because we are in the throes of a pandemic that is
Living
literally
his best life.
okay, living his best life. And at that moment, I realized, wow, there is my world currently at that moment was not filled with all problems and trouble and trauma and pandemonium. Yeah, there was a lot of that. But again, I had life. I was helping people. Not just that I had a job, I was helping people. My family was safe in the moment. There were some family members that I did lose, but I got to see them, right? Like there are so many other things that were happening. Wins, as you say, like in corporate America and in leadership. And I just did not have the right lens to see those things. And sometimes it is also about, hey, how do I change my glasses? Because sometimes my glasses are so dirty that that's all I see, right? How do I
Mm.
clean those lenses so that I can really see what are the present truths that are with me? And there can always be more than one truth, right? Two things can be true at the same time. And so
Mm.
how do I posture myself and position myself to not only see half truth, right? To see the other half or the other side of that coin. And so to your
Ooh.
point, yes, let's celebrate these wins. How do we
Discerning.
celebrate the wins? Yeah, there might be some things we need to work on, but what are the things that are really well and are going well? Mhm.
Mhm. And
Yeah.
those small things make a difference. Brittany said sometimes God won't deliver us from the problem because the problem is meant to help someone else through the issue. I
My
don't like that one. So true, Britt, but I don't like that's my line, sister. Shout out. But I don't
very
like that one because that happened to me. And I'm like, I don't want to be here. Like,
for this. Yeah.
I did not ask for this cup. And I posted my testimony recently because everybody think, yo, Yolanda, you such a boss. I'm like, what make y'all think I'm a boss? I don't understand what that means. I'm just over here living my best life trying to make it with these four little children, okay?
Yes.
And they be like, look, Yolanda, you a boss, you're doing so good. And I'm like, well, am I posting on social media where it's not true? Or are they reading it a certain way? So I
Yeah.
started, like
Yeah.
backing off of posting because I'm like, child, I'm over here struggling. Okay.
Struggling.
And did I have a great life at one point? I did. But then there came a season where I had struggle and I
Yeah.
don't know it and I don't like it and I ain't trying to be there ever again. I'm just saying that now, Lord, we have had a talk. I have made it through my Job season. My testimony is here. And in
Right.
Jesus' name, I don't want to go through it again.
Don't forget our
But
book, right? Uh-huh.
once, you for social media sake, for
Yeah.
me, I have to be out of the season for a while before I talk
Yeah.
about it.
For
So I
sure.
decided to talk about it. Very embarrassing season for real.
Yeah.
It was
For
humbling. And then I got so many inboxes and text messages. And I was like, see, Britt, that was for somebody else to keep
sure.
pushing
For
who's
sure.
currently in it.
Yeah.
And the timing couldn't have been more perfect because they wouldn't have been in it when I
Yes.
posted it, right?
Yes.
And so it is hard.
Sure.
It is hard. But sometimes it's meant to help somebody else, and we have to look at that
Really.
half glass full or
Yeah.
half full lens.
Yeah.
when we are going through
Mm-hmm.
things. And that glimmer is going to be important.
For sure.
How can you say it is well with my soul when I was living in an efficiency apartment? I had a 5-bedroom, 3-level house. I ain't gonna listen. The Lord already knows.
And you know what? I mean, to that point though, Yolanda, that was you being well, right? And I think there are
Mm,
versions of our wellness over our lifetime, and they don't all look the same. They don't show up the same. They don't, at face value, we'll say, right? They don't all check the boxes of what we would consider success or productivity or living the best life or all of those things. But that's what wellness looked like for you in that season, being that efficiency and having safety and all of those things that were important and valuable. They were hard, right? They were
mhm.
tough. Um, but you were well, right? As I say,
And I did have to remind myself of that. Now, I was in efficiency like basement thing with Deuce and my kids were somewhere else. But when I say I was in like the cream of the crop neighborhood, just let's be clear. Like my kids went to the A1 school because I was in the cream of the
let's
crop
be
neighborhood.
clear,
So
right?
every time I walked home, even though my soul was just grieved,
Hmm.
because I am a very A type, so things have to be a certain way.
Yes,
And when things
yes.
are out of my control, there's that. But
Woo.
I walked and I was like, I love this neighborhood. Like the neighborhood is beautiful. I'm happy to be like pulling into this
Yeah,
subdivision. It could be worse,
yeah,
right?
yep.
It could
Hmm.
be worse, but I was in a very comfortable
Yeah,
space, but not my own space. So then there was that. So
yeah.
anyway, that Lord, now you heard me say I don't want to go through it again, but I got you on a telling a testimony and helping somebody
There you
else.
go. There you go. Yes.
Let's see what Jeffrey's saying. He allows us to go through to remind us we are not going through alone. We're going to help Jeffrey with his spelling, though. Why me turns into why not you is what he was
Right.
saying.
Not
Why
you.
not you? Why me turns into why not you? Ooh, I
Yeah.
don't even want to hear that. Let's move on because I don't want the Lord to, to try me again in this season. But it was tough. It's tough to go and find that glimmer, but um we're going to translate that into because my audience, your audience as well, is women. And
Mhm.
so women carry outside of ministry, I feel like we carry a bulk of the load. That's how I
Mhm.
feel personally
Mhm.
as a woman. Like you said, as a woman, this is
So,
how I feel, that we have to
yeah.
carry the bulk of the load. Um, I don't know. Talk about because you're a mom and you've had to
Mhm.
do both. Like talk about carrying the weight of the woman and
Yeah.
the weight of being well in that
Mhm.
space, balancing all of those things.
For sure. Whew. So,
Load a
you
gun.
know, definitely, like as you said, there are, and no, no better thans, like when it comes to men and women. I know we get stuck in that a lot, but very
Yeah,
much differences in
yeah.
how we deal, how we are, how we show up. I think about the fact that we are fashioned to birth babies, right? Which
Uh-huh.
means we are fashioned in a way where our bodies have to know how to adjust in order to carry,
Uh-huh.
adjust our nutrients and our intake because we're feeding another person, adjust the shape of our bodies because we're housing that person, then adjust so that we can birth that baby, then adjust so we can feed that baby, right? So essentially, we are fashioned to carry and to nurture
Mm.
and to hold on, right? And so in life, in leadership, in entrepreneurship, guess what we do? We walk
Carry.
that fashion, right? We carry and we nurture and we carry those weights. And so I think one of the things that I have had to learn is understanding that one, that's a blessing, right? I have the ability to do that, but also that is a gift that I have to that I've been given stewardship over, right? And
Mm.
so while yes, as a woman and one in leadership, I might be inclined to carry weights and to bear down and to birth things and to also sometimes carry the weight of others. That I was not intended to do that always at all times. We were not created to birth babies all days of the year, every year, things, right? You know what I'm
Right.
saying? Like there's only so much of that we can do, and then there should be a rest and recovery period and a reset period for that. And I think in our leadership, we've taken that on as well, that we don't give ourselves rest, we don't give ourselves recovery, and we don't give ourselves time to reset. We think that in order to, and I know that there are a lot of reasons that we also that support our thinking, but we think that we have to always be producing in order to be successful or to stay ahead or to be on top or to be the best, right? And we just weren't created to do that. Like I was created to rest and not have to produce and be loved and cared for and appreciated even when I'm not producing, right? And that's the part I think of us that we don't know. We've not been given the privilege to know and be that and become that, unfortunately. But I think it's time that we kind of reclaim that though for ourselves.
In this season for me, that's what I'm claiming.
For sure.
Once I'm crossing over this 50, they don't think I'm 50, but honey, I'm knocking that 50 door. And don't
come on over. It's good over here. It's good.
And happy about it too, because then I can say things like, I'm 50, girl. I don't got time for
Listen,
I'm 50, girl. I ain't explaining myself. No is
I'm not. Yeah.
50 is no is a complete sentence.
It is.
I'm 50. No is a complete sentence.
And you know what comes along with that? It comes, I think for me, is understanding, oh, it's like an awakening. Oh, I'm 50. Like I legit probably have more years behind me than I have ahead, right? And I know, and the thought of that helps you to kind of recalibrate, to say, you know what? Let me reprioritize here, because there's some things that are priority that shouldn't be. And that doesn't just come when you're 50. Let me say that. I think that comes in on your going back to being well, on your wellness journey. The more self-aware I am, and that self-awareness is a huge part of wellness, is because in order for me to be well, or to know what I need to be well, or to know how to answer myself in the spaces I'm in, even if I'm in a Job season, I got to be self-aware. So I got to be self-aware enough to know what I need. And then I got to be intentional enough to know what I need to give myself based on my need. Right. And so, you know, a part of rediscovering wellness and what that means for us is I got to be self-aware to know when I'm not well. Like, meaning I've not maximized, not like I'm just sick or things are not going like I want them to, but no, I'm not maximizing my moments right now. I'm not maximizing my moments to rest. I'm not maximizing my moments to sit and produce or write a book. I'm not maximizing my moments to work on my vision plan for 2026. I'm not maximizing my moment to create a new budget for me, right? Whatever that looks like for me to be well, I'm not doing that. And when we realize that we're not doing that, there has to be this reset, that we have to reset and start being a better steward over ourselves.
So many things just came in my mind. Goodness, I can't even. Where am I going to unpack this? So one, self-awareness. That's huge. Somebody dropped that in the comments. I could put it on the screen. You must have self-awareness, especially as we get older, to listen to your body, right?
Absolutely.
And to listen to your heart and your how you are processing things. Is it normal that I'm feeling this way? Self-awareness when it comes to your feelings and your mental wellness, and resting. Oh, Bonita Bryan said, wait till you hit your 70s, baby. Hey, mama. We both know Bonita Bryan. I love her. I don't think that's her name right now. So excuse me, Mom. I think you have a different last name, but we know who you are.
You are. Absolutely.
She a fly 72. Like, I'm looking forward to
goals. Okay, goals.
But when you are self-aware, it makes a difference on how you process and move through life. And I think that what we're calling you to in this season, for those who are listening, is to make a moment of rest. One thing I thought about when you were saying that is I have this journal for next year. I love still the paper journal. And I am going to do a few things because I have a lot of responsibilities in this year, right? This is called the self-awareness that
Yeah.
I know that I have a whole lot of things going on, but I
Yep.
need to prioritize a whole lot of things as
That's
well.
right.
So in my journal, I'm going to write down all of the things that my family need from me because I need to be present for my children and my
Yeah,
mother.
for
Okay.
sure.
And so I'm going to, in my journal, not in my journal, in my planner, write all the dates because
Hmm.
Lexi's graduating and also turning 18. My mom's retiring. She wants to go on a trip.
Yeah.
Like there's all of these blocks that need
Yep.
to be in there that are non negotiables. And then from there, I'm going to, even though God is first, we're putting church after the
Hmm.
family on the date scale. I'm just
For
going to be
sure.
clear. I'm just going to be
Yeah.
honest, right? And so then add my ministry stuff in there. And then from there, I can build out what workshops I'm going to say yes to and what, because still no is a complete sentence, even though you're humbled that somebody asked. No,
Right.
still a
That's
complete
right.
sentence. Because if you have
Right.
not rested that weekend or that month, then you might need to say no. Be
Yes.
okay with that. Okay. So you must have self awareness. Then I'm going to build in other stuff like
Hmm.
whatever, right? But
Hmm.
it's going to be the family, then, the faith stuff, and
Yeah.
then the work stuff. That's
For
how I'm
sure.
building my calendar. Drop in
Yeah.
the comments how you building your calendar and how you're planning for 2026. So I think that was a great segue to this question that I
Yeah.
had. Before setting goals, what inner work must be addressed? I think we kind of hit it, but if you have anything that you want to add right there, what inner work should we do
So
before setting goals for 2026?
I think first, I think setting yourself in agreement with. I believe that we have to come into agreement with those goals or the visions, all those things that we really want to do. And the one thing I ask as Dr. LaToya, for those that are listening and will listen to this, is make sure that you prioritize your whole self, right?
Mm.
When we think of whole, we think of body, soul, spirit, yes, but that is also inclusive of roles, right? The responsibilities you have, as you mentioned, Yolanda, your kids, right? Your mom, your entrepreneurship, right? Like your leadership, those are all important. But make sure that every single one of those, right, are on that list to plan for one, right? Another great way, I think, to kind of start some internal work prior to setting goals is there's this thing that's called the Johari window. Have you heard of the Johari window?
Talk about it.
So the Johari window is it's definitely, it was invented by this person. I think it was a psychologist. But he invented it to help with mapping awareness. And it simply is a quadrant, right? So there you got a huge square, but there are 4 squares within that one square. Well, the top left square is what's called the open area, if you will, right?
Mhm.
And that's the stuff that's known to others and known to yourself, right? You're aware of it, you know it. Other people know that about you. For instance, I know that you're a mom. I know that you're a mom of 4. You know that, I know that, right? Well, guess what? In knowing that, I can again adjust my expectations of you because I know that about you. You can adjust expectations, right? Because you know that as well. Okay. Beneath that, right, the lower left, if you will, is the hidden area, what we would call. It's known to self, but not known to others. So this is the stuff that you know about you, but I don't know about you. I don't know, we'll just say, I don't know your rest schedule. So I don't know what would be good for you in terms of rest. 7 hours, 8 hours, 6 hours. I don't know that. You would know that about yourself, right? So we need to know that. Bottom right is unknown. Don't nobody know it about you, right? I don't know it about me. Nobody else knows it. That's stuff that we grow into over time. But the top right is what I want to kind of highlight. This is stuff that's known to others, but it's not known to us. Here's where
Mm.
self-awareness really, really is important. That means other people see this about me, but I don't see this about myself. And when I say other people, I don't mean the people that don't matter, right? All people matter to God. I don't mean the people that don't really have voice or influence in my life. I mean the people that really do have influence. Those people that love me, that know me, they can see these things, but I just, for whatever, have not been able to see those things to consider them. That's what we call our blind spots, right?
Mm.
And as you're prepping for 2026 and goal setting, one, prayer, but also sitting with yourself to just be open and honest to say, hey, what are the blind spots in my life that I really, really need to pay attention to going into this new year? Because I think oftentimes those are the things that get left in the previous year, but they also sneak into the new year, right? We name it, proclaim it. We do all the things on New Year's Eve, and we leave what's behind and we're moving forward. But those are the things, because they are in our blind spot, they kind of seep in and they follow us and they continue to connect and attach to us, and they slow us down. They weigh us down. Why? Because we're not being self-aware enough to know that they're present, right? And so, again, I would, again, as you're going into the new year, as all of us are, like, consider those blind spots, right? And you can look up the Johari window. You can see it that way. You can, for those that are visual. But just, I want you to consider those blind spots and help that to be a prayer, or just a moment of just having some inflection and self-reflection with yourself to say, hey, what are some things that kind of got by me and I didn't recognize them? Let me list those things so I can prepare to consider, right, those pitfalls, those blind spots as I'm going into my goals. Yeah.
Wow, that was a lot. Woo! I'm looking up Johari, Johari.
Yes.
Yeah,
Yes.
Johari window.
Yeah.
And if you Google it, it comes right up. So you
Yeah.
can visit those 4 quadrants. I recommend, if she recommends it, I recommend that you do it. Okay? I recommend that you put it on your thing to recommend to do it. Okay.
Yes.
Makisha says she's going on a fast and talking to God about her 2026.
Yes.
I was at a networking brunch yesterday,
Mm-hmm.
and the lady mentioned something that I'd never thought of. Now,
Okay.
I start my 2020. I'm in 2026 already. Okay.
Right.
Period. I feel like if you don't do it, maybe at the top, I probably was like Black Friday-ish, like, let's go,
Okay.
let's do it. Right.
Yeah.
I feel like if I don't have momentum, then on the first, it's too
Mhm.
late. But what she said was so powerful. Let me know what you feel about this.
Okay.
She said that she does not go hard first
Mhm.
quarter because it is a dead season. It's the winter season. It's
Mhm.
meant for you to hibernate,
Mhm.
almost kind of like that, rest and get ready,
Mhm.
not go. And that spring, the second quarter of the
Mhm.
year, is when everything blossoms and blooms, lives and breathes, is a moment for the seeds that you plant to come
Yeah.
alive. And I was like, now I couldn't do it because I'm A type and I got to be on a mission the first quarter. But it made
Yeah.
sense to me. Like, a different lens, but what do you
Sure.
think about that?
Yeah, I think there's some absolute benefit and efficiency in that, because I do agree. I think the one thing that I think we don't do well is the resting, recovering, resetting, and in her words, that hibernating, right? And really getting and storing up the things that we need in order to go forth. I think we don't do a good job at that at the end of the year, nor at the beginning of the year. In order to gain kind of momentum. And so I think it's a great idea to find for you. Now, maybe, that could look different. I'm from the country, so I always say there's more than one way to skin a cat. Okay. And so you take the girl out of the country, cannot take the country out of the girl. Okay. But, so there's more than one way that you can do that. But I think what it sounds like that she's sharing is that, hey, like, maximize the seasons that you're in, and versus subscribing to sometimes these commercialized ways in which we do things and these commercialized times, I think it's like, hey, we each have to sit with ourselves to know, hey, do I need some extra rest in the beginning of the year, in this first quarter, before I can really set myself on a path and a track and a pace that works well for me and that will allow me to be well and be successful? Or am I able to get that at the end of the year? And by the time we get, because some people are able to do that at the end and kind of start that new year afresh. But I think it's finding your groove, right, of where you are, and ensuring that you have enough gas for your journey, right? Because that's
It's
essentially
no
what
wrong
happens.
way.
No
No
wrong
wrong way
way.
to do it.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Yeah.
I love that. Have enough gas. Like, how you gonna have enough gas to get through your 12-month journey? Like, huh?
Exactly. Like, and what does that look like?
What
And
does that look
where
like?
your fuel stops along the way
Come
that
on,
you're
fuel
gonna
stops.
stop, right? To gas up and to refuel. And that has to be planned. When you think about a trip, we gas up before we leave because we know how far that's gonna get us. And then we plan
Ooh,
our refuel stop along the way because we know, hey, around this time I'm gonna be hungry. I'm going to need a potty break. I'm going to need some more gas, right? We plan that.
we
And we
do.
don't do a good job with planning that for ourselves because we do need it. We need it for sure. Yeah.
I think you're right. We don't do it.
Mm-mm.
So now in my planner, I got to put the
Mm-hmm.
pit stops.
That's
Now
right.
I'm putting trips, but you know what? Those trips are for other people, not
Very-
necessarily my rest and relax. So I'm going to be entertaining others who are
Yeah.
celebrating.
Yeah.
So my girlfriend said, I got to go because I got a massage. Now massages don't relax me at all. Like I
Okay.
can't stand for them to get off me, you do it. But I gotta find that thing.
Yes.
Beaches, water, those
Find
things.
your thing.
Yeah, those
Yeah.
things calm me down. Another thing that
Mm-hmm.
or gives me reset. Let me say that. Another thing that I was thinking about when we were talking about small wins. There is this book called The 12-Week Year, and I
Mm.
pulled it out. This I did so much reading. I'm so sick of myself because I study, and don't execute. So this is
Mm-hmm.
my
Okay.
word. Drop your word of the year in the comments. My word is execution because God
Okay.
gives me a long list of things that He
Yeah.
ideas. I feel like they come from Him because they be like real good. So I'm like, oh God, that was good. Let me write it down.
Okay,
So
right.
I write it down and it stay right there.
That's
I
right.
even plan it. I even like write it,
Yeah.
plan the thing, and then leave it right in that book or on the computer. And so in this year, it's all about execution.
Okay.
And because I'm trying to execute so many different things, and I
Mm-hmm.
know people ain't gonna understand it. What that go with that? That don't go with that. I don't care. God gave it to me.
Mm-hmm.
I'm executing it. But you have made it very clear to me that I need to put the rest stops inside of my year too.
Yes, you do.
I'm laughing at Jeffrey because he put Princess Mississippi, and you know I was gonna say something about this spelling, Jeffrey. We love you though.
I
Thank you for
know.
joining us. But
Prentice.
but
Prentice.
he did. He said spell check. Princess Mississippi is where she's from. Uh, the good old skin the cat girl. Lord have mercy. We love you, Jeffrey. Thank you for joining. Though I'm just teasing. Um, Carol McGee says her word is
Oh,
consistency.
very
That's a
good.
good one. Do you have a word of the year? Do you do that?
I do. Yes. My word for this year is create, right?
Create.
Yes. And
Say more.
so my statement, if you will, really has to do with me being created by God and how he took very much intention in doing that. And I've not done as good of a job creating the things that he's put in me, right?
Oh,
And
we on the same. We right here.
yep, absolutely. When you said that execution, and there's just again so many ideas, thoughts, all the things, right, that are in books, on papers, on sticky notes, on like in every in my phone, that I just have not been intentional to not. I haven't been intentional in
Mm.
planning, but I also haven't been intentional in sitting with myself, the created, to create those things. And
No, she was gonna drop
this
that.
year,
The created to create.
yes. And this year I want to plan time, right? I might not can plan out the time, because I can be very much flowy. You already know, like you're Gemini like me, right? So I can be flip flop, right? It depends on which one sometimes, but sometimes I can be very black and white. Sometimes I can be very ebbs and flows and like let's go with the flow, right? But what I do want to do is provide myself with time to create this year, and that's going to be very number one on my
Add that to the
intention.
calendar.
That's right.
Block it
Absolutely.
off.
Yep.
And go somewhere great.
Yes.
You're good at doing that. Go somewhere great and block it off.
Yes.
Oh, I was
Yes.
talking about the 12-week year. So the 12-week year
Yeah.
is one of those small goals. Somebody
Mhm.
drop that in the comments. So, and if you can find, Makisha's my girl, find the author of that. The 12-week year talks about those small wins we talked about in the
Mhm.
beginning. So I want to arm you. I always want to arm my audience with do it now. Like you can go
Yes.
and find it, do it now, right? You
Yes.
can build in the rest stops now. You can
Yes.
plan your journey now. You can plan time with God now. So I would like people to get from, and this is from my own experience, from the thinker, the dreamer to the doer. Do it,
Yes.
execute
Yes.
it. But the 12-week year talks about the putting your goals into chunks that are quarterly, like 12
Mm-hmm.
weeks, and knocking it off that way. And
Mm-hmm.
then celebrating that win for rounding that year off.
Mm-hmm.
And so you should check out the 12-week year. No,
Oh,
I'm not being paid to advertise that, but I do think it will help you
yeah.
to get further quicker in the year. What I'm looking for, because I have so many things going on, is how can I get it done the most efficient and the quickest
Absolutely.
way? Because I got another thing I need to do. Get that out the way.
So I can get to the next thing.
So I can get to the next thing. So I actually,
Yeah.
what did you actually put on your goal board today? I actually put that on my goal board today. I wonder what that is, Britt. Oh, maybe it was
Oh, I
this.
love that.
Breathe new life into
Yes.
my dream. Come on. Ooh, I did get warm because you said something. I was like, let me not get the Holy Ghost on this doggone. God, you do it every time. Breathe new life into my dreams. Revive every vision that died from delay, fear, or disappointment.
Ooh.
Mm.
Let me say, can I say something about fear, especially in that I work with a lot of that. And let me say, I work with a lot of fear as it relates to clients, but I've also, 12-week year by Brian Morgan. Okay. I also have done a lot of personal work, right, with fear, with myself. And most people don't know, but fear changes your construct and your behaviors when it comes to what you do. So for instance, if you have a goal, right? We'll just say your goal is to I don't know, whatever, write a book this year, right? Well, when fear enters, it now changes the way you see that goal and how you behave related to that goal. So to your point, Brittany, like all the things that have died due to delay and fear, some of that also has to be changing the way we see fear and how we interact with fear. The one thing we need to do is we have to kick fear out. Fear, in the church. Now, those of you that grew up in the church, false evidence appearing real, right? Like that was like it's been preached, but fear can be something real, right? But it can also be something that's not real, but yet it threatens us. Well, the one thing that we do get to do with that is we get to have mastery over that. I get to tell fear if it has a place or if it does not. Because if I don't, if it stays with me, if it lives with me, it's going to change the way I behave as it relates to my goal. It's going to cause me to procrastinate. It's going to cause me to delay. It's going to cause me to feel unworthy to do this goal or to achieve it. It's going to make me pull the goal apart and convince myself that I don't have time or space or the energy to do that for now. And that's all because I allowed fear in my space. It changes us. It does. So for those that are struggling with that, take that into account and into mind and realize that, hey, it doesn't have a place. It's not based on truth. So you do get to do all the work that you can do to kick it out of your mind and out of your heart so you can do what you were created to do. Okay.
That's good, Britt. Listen, you could drop her Cash App. No, listen, her Cash App is, because that was an offering plate right there. Follow her on all things Dr. LaToya if you want a
Yes.
little bit more. And her podcast is coming soon, right? And so we would love, well, coming back. It was already
Yep.
coming back soon. You can
Yep.
follow her on all things Dr. LaToya to know, because she
Sure.
got, if you can't already see, feel, or experience in this, it's been 59 minutes. I didn't want to tell you that, but like that time went
It
fast.
went very fast. It
So
did.
fast. All right. I realized I don't even know who this is. Heart to Mike one. I realize I need more balance and intention in my connections. I can't pour into spaces that feel inconsistent anymore. I'm open to what's aligned. That we heard aligned a few times in the chat.
Mhm.
I'm also, let's see what she says. I'm also
At
at peace with
stepping.
stepping back. That's that big age that I'm at. I'm at peace.
Yeah.
Huh? With
Yeah.
just being like, no more.
Yeah.
Not here. Not doing that.
For
I love
sure.
it.
Those are some really good words. Intention being a really, really important word in that.
Mm.
And again, my statement before, wellness can look like a lot of different things. Wellness can look like more connection. It can look like a little less connection, depending on where you are on your wellness journey. And the
Mhm.
only way that we know that, though, is if we're self-aware, right? And here's some quick things in terms of strengthening that muscle of self-awareness every day. If you set for yourself every day that when you wake up, you do a self check on yourself. I like to do to kind of get all the spaces, body, soul, spirit, right? In that, I also kind of, once I leave those three, check on connections or relationships. I ask myself, how does your body feel this morning? Which means I got to think about that. I got to move. Ooh,
Mhm.
my neck. Ooh, I got a crick in my neck. Ooh, I got my knee is hurting, right? How does my heart or my soul feel, right? How do I feel well? Do I feel anxious? Do I feel hopeful today? How does my spirit feel? Do I feel full of faith today? Am I like, yes, Lord? Or am I like, ooh, God, if you don't help me today, right? Like, where am I in my spirituality? Am I feeling that urge to sit with God, or am I like, ugh, I'm over it? Because when we can answer those things, when we can check on those things, we know how to then deal with ourselves in the day, right?
Mm.
If I
So
know,
before you jump up
Mhm.
and
Yes,
start doing and rushing, because that's how I get up. I'll
yeah,
get up because I snooze 5 times and then I have to run and do some and put them on the bus. But before you get up
yeah,
and your feet hit the floor, be self-aware. Do a self-check.
do your
3
check-in. Yep,
points.
that's all
Do your
right.
self-check-in.
Yep.
Ooh, we learned a lot today, baby. I just want to tell you a personal testimony before we close out because I can't believe it's been I can't believe it's been an
I
hour.
can't
That
either.
went so fast. I want to tell you, and I was looking back to see if this old Bible was here.
Mm-hmm.
One thing I don't think I've ever told you, and it says and I was like, Gab, where's my Bible? Like she's supposed to be here already and deliver it. But this is what I remember that is in it,
Mm-hmm.
and I wrote it down. And it says, through God, from God through Dr. LaToya. We didn't call you that then. Dr.
Mm-hmm.
LaToya. All things concerning all all the promises I made to you will come to pass, or something like that. I wish I could
Mm-hmm.
read it.
Mm-hmm.
And you told me that I'm talking decades ago. And
Wow.
I wrote that down, and I still believe it to this day that
Wow.
all things, all the promises I've made to you are coming to pass, something like that. I'm gonna
Mm-hmm.
have to text you and let you know what
Yeah.
it really says when I get that Bible. And I'll never ever forget it. And I remember opening that Bible and like having to remind myself when things
Mm-hmm.
got tough that all things concern, all the promises I made to you are coming to pass. And then it was another good one that you said, listen, the first time I heard you preach, I always told you I'm gonna join your church. You hear me? I tell her that she ain't opening one. Don't start that rumor. But
Start
I
that
was like,
rumor.
I'm gonna join your church. Get your Bible. You need me to carry something for you. Cause listen, there was another one that said you are multifaceted in the spirit. No, as multifaceted, something like as multifaceted as you are in the realm, the
Mm-hmm.
worldly realm,
Then that.
you are in the spirit. I can't wait to find them for you. And I was
Mm-hmm.
like, huh? What? I don't got no multifacets in the spirit. I'm just this pew member, huh? But I mean, those words, man, they encourage me in some levels because honestly, I do not. I've been in minister class. I do have a collar, but I do not ascribe to being a pulpit preacher, pul, see, I can't even say it.
Preacher.
Pulpit. Look, my whole body. You listen to your body. Your whole body was rejecting it. Pulpit.
Like, nope, nope, pulpit preacher. Nope,
Not
not
full.
me.
I always said I'm a marketplace
Yeah,
minister,
for
right? I'm okay
sure.
with being a marketplace minister. I go spread the gospel and
That's
the light of
right.
Jesus Christ in the
That's
marketplace.
right.
Don't ask me to get in the pulpit. But when you said you are multifaceted in the spirit, I always thought that it stopped for me at that one level. And
Mm-hmm.
so you really encouraged me. I just wanted to tell you that I have nothing to do with y'all about,
Wow.
but it's my platform and
I
I can tell
appreciate
you what I want to tell you, how I want
you.
to
Sure
tell.
can. You absolutely can. But thank you for sharing that, though. I mean, that's always, I don't always remember those moments, obviously,
Of
right?
course not, right?
but it's always great to hear, especially those things that resonate with people and that help them to that little glimmer, right?
Mhm.
That we kind of hold. I
You
have
know this means something else.
right.
Y'all tell Dr. LaToya this don't mean glimmer, but in our world it means glimmer.
Glimmer right now. Look, glimmer. Do I need to do it that way? But a little glimmer of just that we can hold on when we're in really, really tough, rough, uncertain, hard, challenging, difficult times, because that
And
is
questioning
life.
yourself. Yeah, we
Yes,
question ourselves like, am I
absolutely.
supposed to? Am I in the right? Am I doing
Yeah.
right? Am I
Can I?
doing?
Yeah.
Can I?
Mhm.
Should I? Oh, thank you, thank you, thank
Yes.
you. We
Yes.
appreciate Dr. LaToya, as
Oh,
she's known on social media. We know her as Dr. LaToya K. Williams. I don't know why I can't say it. It's got to be the K. I was typing it. I was like, K period, because it got to be the K. Let's close them out because I can hold you forever. You got to come back later in the season, maybe in
please.
2026.
I
Oh,
would love to.
let me put this out there on the fly so she can't say no. There is a women's retreat I'm doing, honestly inspired by you, just like softly. When
Yeah.
I first we were in a group together called Women of Fire. Do you remember that?
Yes.
And when I first kind of was under you, under
Hmm.
leadership, not as friendship, and
Hmm.
you took us to a place in Peachtree City. Do you
Mm,
remember that?
I do remember that.
I have never forgot that location. A lot of
Yeah.
things broke for me in that space that you created. And softly, I always wanted to go back there. And
Yeah.
I met the events people there because I was like just trying to get back there. And
Yeah.
I am having a sisters retreat. I did not put this on the screen. I didn't put a flyer on the screen, but you can go to my events section if you follow me. I mean, you should be following me and Dr. LaToya K. Williams by now, huh? But in my in that sisters retreat,
Mhm.
it is a singles retreat. Actually, it is for all women married and single can come, but I'm a single woman, so it's through my lens.
Yeah.
And one thing that I want to do in this singles retreat is um, teach, show, help expose women who may be single
Mhm.
or married, women period. Nothing broken, nothing lacking, nothing missing. This is what I hear. I've been hearing
Yeah.
that for decades.
Yeah.
One of my friends said that to me. I mean, when before Gabby was born, and Gabby's almost 25, but
Mhm.
nothing broken, nothing lacking, nothing missing.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
as I'm on my journey of singleness, I have chosen, I could be
Mhm.
married. I could
Mhm.
be, but I've chosen not to settle for some
Yeah.
reasons you said earlier, because I want to be the woman who is living in a soft life. And I don't mean that financially, I mean
Mhm.
that mentally and spiritually as well.
Yes.
Somebody
Yes.
who really
For
covers me
sure.
for real.
For
Like,
sure.
that covers me for real. So I'm not
For sure.
settling on just the loneliness. But women, single women, even those who may be single in their household, I mean, I've
Yeah.
been there, need to have some kind of instructions where, like me, I don't wear makeup. I don't know how to put on makeup and look. I want that, and I'm a doer. So it's not just like
Mhm.
leave this retreat and you feel refreshed, but you leave this retreat feel refreshed and have these tools
Yes.
in
Yes.
all these areas, in wellness of the body and wellness of the mind, which I think you would fit in great in. Hint, hint. All things drlatoya.com. We're just going to throw her out there. But wellness of the mind, I want them to leave with the tools to not be broken, not have anything lacking, and they have to do the work. And that setting is going to be Peachtree, Crown Plaza, Peachtree. It wasn't
Mhm.
Crown Plaza then,
It
but it's
wasn't then. Yeah.
Crown Plaza,
Nice.
Peachtree City, Georgia, and it's going to be a 2-day
I love
retreat.
that.
And I don't know if I want you to preach or to teach or to both, because listen, we got to get Dr. LaToya. So y'all help me work on my budget so I can get Dr. LaToya in the building. Because if you love her today, you're going to definitely love her in person. She's a powerhouse. I'm telling you, I would have joined her little church, but she won't open one. I would have joined that little church. Are you following us on all things? Come sit down with me. The Sit Down with Yolonda Jay. We're on all social media. I see you on YouTube. Our YouTube audience has been amazing today. Hello, YouTube. Thank you for chatting with us today, especially our Jeffrey, who has been texting and driving and
Oh gosh.
Texting and driving. He said Jeff and not Jeffrey. I'm sorry, Jeff and not Jeffrey. But Sisters Retreat is February 13th through the 15th. 13th through the 15th in Peachtree City, Georgia, where we're going to be talking about not being broken, nothing lacking, nothing missing. And we're going to leave there with all of the tools, armed to be whole women, armed to be whole women. Brittany said half the battle is marrying the right one. I mean, it's a lot of ones, but it's the right. Listen, Britt, I'm not, you know, that's my sister. I'm not settling. I just don't be single in the street. I'm actually on a, we ain't gonna get into this conversation. I'm on a fast from dating right now. So Lord, I'm fasting from dating.
That's good. That's a part of wellness, right? Like
that is a part of self-awareness. Yes.
To know what you need. And I'll end with this. I have some, and I don't know where we are in yours, so I'm not trying to.
We're supposed to be at the end, but
I know. But I do have some, I mean, I do want you guys to follow me. I do have some things coming up in the new year in 2026 that I'm excited about. But one of the things that you'll hear somewhere, right, is me talking about truth, right? And the truth setting us free, right? Like y'all already know I'm a Christian, I'm a believer, like all things church, okay? Like I am that girl for sure. But that's a huge part of my life. It's a huge part of my work as well. And so the word for me, it really does become and has become so those things that I like have to hold on to when it's hard, because it's all I got. I don't know what to tell myself. I don't know how to feel about myself, but I do know this word, right? And that like logos word, right? They're written, but that's also some rhema that God has given me, right? And so, but with that, you should know the truth will make you free. One of the things that I've learned in self-awareness is you got to know several truths, right? God's truth for me is very important, right? It is absolutely foundational. It is absolute truth. Well, the other part of my self-awareness is my own truth. What are my truths that are present right now? Some of those are not absolutes, right? There are some absolutes. I'm Black. That's absolute. I can't not be Black, right? I'm a woman. I can't not be, but I'm not going to not be a woman, okay? There are some absolutes for me, but there are some truths that are my present right now that might not be my truth tomorrow, or might not be my truth, you know, in a month or 6 months. And so I got to know what my truth now is, though, before I can get to 6 months. The other thing is I got to know other people's truth. When you talk about dating, those people that you're dating, whether you're married, dating, seriously dating, you got to know their truth and how that fits into your truth and God's truth for you.
Absolutely.
And if that doesn't fit, then we got to make some decisions. But the only way we can do that is if we are self-aware, aware of ourselves, our truth, but also aware of our surrounding truths that are really affecting or impacting who we are, where we're going, right? And so something to also remember in that self-awareness is it does help you to know what you need, to know what you desire and what you want and what's best for you, for sure.
Ooh, my skin got hot again. That means she hitting a chord. Like, ooh, I can't even breathe right now.
Just breathe.
Listen, Jeffrey said he's coming. He said, I'll be here for that convo. Single, saved, and not settling. That's a good one. We might have to do that one. Because we gotta do something for the men too. We gotta do something for the men too.
Absolutely. For sure.
Woo, I am full. I am happy. I am full of joy and pride and peace and just, I think joy is that big one. You do that for me though in every space. I know you be like, girl, calm down. I just be like, I do. I love you so much. I don't know why I'm that way, but you know, I'm not that way with everybody.
True. Very true.
I am so not that way. You talk about that Gemini real, honey. She shows her head.
No, I also that though.
We also share our birthday week as well. So that's another connection. If you're joining us late, I've been knowing Dr. LaToya since I was 18, 30 years ago. And we also share birthday week. And so we have another girlfriend that we have a back-to-back triple threat. Shout out to Tam. Triple threat birthdays in June. 3 Geminis just back to back.
Lord, I know, back.
Clear the room. Well, Dr. LaToya, tonight's conversation reminds us that we must, before moving forward, we must pause. Wellness is not a reward, it's our own responsibility. And I just wanted to thank you for sharing your amazing wisdom, your faith, your heart with us as we close. I couldn't have thought of, I mean, it serendipitously happened actually that you closing out the year, but I couldn't have closed out the year of this show with a better guest. To everyone watching, I hope you leave the sit down today lighter, clearer, and more grounded than when you arrived. This has been the Sit Down with Yolonda Jay. If this conversation has resonated with you, share it with someone. Like and subscribe for our next video. We're going to be with a surprise guest who is also a millionaire as we start the first of the year. So I'm very excited for her to share her nuggets with us. But definitely share this specific broadcast with somebody who may need to slow down and need permission to slow down and heal. So I am very, very happy, and my heart is filled that the way we ended this season, this podcast, I call it a talk show because it's going to be in person one day in Jesus' name. This talk show is absolutely one of those platforms where we want to encourage and inspire, and you did just that. And so we appreciate your presence today, Dr. LaToya, and we wish you the very best. We're going to scratch that. We pray that God's best be manifested in 2026 on your behalf, and that he breathes over all of the ideas. What was your word? Hold on, don't tell me. Creativity in this season. I pray that he blows on your creativity and knocks it out the park for you. And we appreciate you. We said that was great. We love you both. That's Natasha Lipscomb. We both know her. Hello, Natasha. And we're ending this broadcast, but we'll see you next time on the Sit Down with Yolonda Jay. See you soon. Bye.